Hey everyone, back tuning in to today's video. You can have a quick look at weather next 8 to 10 days. In today's video, take us to around the 29th of October, so going up virtually to the end of the month. It looks like you'll be keeping on dry weather really through much of this week, but as we get to the weekend, I think we could see something a little bit cold again through. We might have a bit of a cold snap sometime over the weekend or into the start of next week. I don't think it'll be all that significant, but it could certainly bring us our first sort of widespread air frost of the season as we get through to the start of next week. I'll show you the charts in a moment, but before I go on that, just very quickly to mention the ASDA links to articles on the page of Gas of this, so have a browse widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. You may have to go up and read the article. And thanks so much for doing that. There's also video ads on most page. They open up in the content. When you watch them, they'll close back up again. So thanks for getting involved. And thanks for doing that. So we'll start off very quickly with the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts. We've got the ECMWF on the top and the GFS is on the bottom. These are mean flow charts for 8 to 10 days time. And red extrapolates high pressure, blue extrapolates to low pressure. So they both are placing a ridge in 8 to 10 days time out to the west or the northwest of the country. Differ a little bit in how close that is to the UK. The GFS has it very close to us. ECMWF has it a little bit further away. And then the ECMWF is placed in this fairly deep trough just to the east of us, which is quite unsettled, whereas the GFS has that over Scandinavia. So they are a little bit different in terms of the exact detail, but they're both sort of indicating the same thing, which is that we bring sort of quite cool air down from the northwest, something like that, and again, a little bit like that. So there's a bit of a trough developing within the 500 millibar flow there, just to the east of us in 8 to 10 days time, and that could allow some colder air to dig down from the north. You see this quite well on the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles. The red line here is the 30-year temperature average, so we're about average now. We're going to go a bit warmer than average this week, in fact quite significantly above average sort of through the middle last stage of the week. But as we go through into the weekend, we are seeing a dip down in the temperatures. We're going a bit below average there, sometime around the 25th to the 29th, so in that parts of the weekend and into the start of next week. Dates are on the bottom, of course. Now, as it's turning more unsettled, as it's turning a bit cool, it's also turning a bit more unsettled. So I've got a bit of rain coming up around the middle part of the week. I don't think that'll amount to too much down in the south, but it could give a little bit of wet weather up in the north. But these rainfall spikes here do look quite significant, actually, as we go through the weekend and into the start of next week. There's a lot of uncertainty about the exact detail for next week. I think we'll probably have a more unsettled spell for a time over the weekend, but next week may build high pressure back in, actually, which could give us risk of frost. But a lot of uncertainty within model output for next week, to be honest. Temperature anomalies for the coming week showing we're a bit warmer than average. Most of Europe has gone warm as well, or warmer than average as well. So that cold start to October we had across most parts of Europe has sort of reversed a bit over the recent days. The precipitation anomaly shows that we're going to be drier than average in the south, a little bit wetter than average in the north and the west. So here we are for Friday from the GFS model. We've got this ridge still clinging on to the south of the country. Low pressure is around Iceland. As we move through into weekend, probably bringing the weather system down across the country. That could be a fairly active cold front, producing a fair bit of heavy rain in the north and west on Saturday. Weakening merge, it moves southwards and eastwards into Sunday. And you see it by sunny high pressure is still clinging on very, very close to the south and southwest. Low pressure up to the north of Scotland is trying to bring down these colder northerly winds. What happens is that a cold front, probably quite a weak one, but a cold front does drop southwards into the start of next week and pulls colder air down, but still within relatively high pressure, actually. So by the time we get through to Tuesday the 27th, we've got a high pressure still ridging across the country, but it is within colder air now. So if we look at the upper air temperatures, we can see that the -5 isotherm has actually moved into Scotland and Northern England. That's cold enough potentially to be producing a few wintry showers sort of Monday into Tuesday in the north. And perhaps more significantly is the temperatures. They could get really quite cold indeed early next week by night. So fairly widespread frost coming right way down in towards the Midlands, I would think. And as we move through into the start of next week, or into the middle part of next week, we still have that high pressure sitting very close to the country. We still have low pressures trying to come in from the Atlantic, trying to turn it more unsettled again. So by the time we go through into Thursday, that low pressure is starting to progress in across the country. Now, this is the 6 o'clock run of the GFS, the midnight run actually had high pressure sitting right over the country. You may have just seen it on the past couple of charts before I refresh the page. So a great deal of uncertainty through the course of next week. I think it will turn colder early on and probably quite dry, and then what happens around middle last stages of the week, looking very, very uncertain indeed. The ECMWF shows the high pressure more or less still in control to go through into Friday, and fairly mild as well. That high pressure weakens over the weekend, and a weather front will come across the country, bring some rain Saturday into Sunday. That can be quite heavy rain up in the north. As we move through into the start of next week, bring more troughs through early in the week, and then this colder northerly wind starts to dig in through the middle part of the week. Again, high pressure starts to reach through the country around the middle of the week, but within colder air, so I think we will have a risk again of night frost, particularly probably Tuesday, Wednesday. There could be some quite hard frosts up in the north with this. You see the upper air temperatures are looking really quite cool, especially up in the north. In fact, quite cold up in the north. And unlike the latest one of the GFS, what the ECMWF does is actually builds the high pressure through the country as we go through into the second half of next week. Again, it is within cold air, so it could be producing certainly some night frost, maybe even one or two wintry showers around the northern and eastern facing coast. So a lot of uncertainty as we're going through into next week, but I think the overall theme is probably to turn it cold. It's going to be fairly mild in the second half of this week and the start of the weekend, and it probably turns colder. Could be some rain around as well, with that change to colder conditions over the weekend in start of next week. Then probably a frosty spell early next week into the middle part of next week. And then quite what's happening after that? Does it stay generally dry but with frost at night? Or does it turn unsettled again with more rain coming in off the Atlantic? Difficult to ascertain. But we'll keep you posted. I'll have another update for you tomorrow. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.